Welcome to another episode of Whitetail Rendezvous, coming to you 6 days a week as we interview whitetail experts and hear their traditions and personal stories of the hunt. Learn more about the latest gear, discover proven tips, and the latest strategies so you can make your next hunt a success. Now, here's your host, Bruce Hutchin.
This is Whitetail Rendezvous Podcast, episode number 264. Welcome to another episode of Whitetail Rendezvous. We're joined by Dr. Shawn Tyson. Dr. Tyson owns Pure One Outdoors, and very simply, he has designed innovative products to help hunters control their scent and UV, making them more successful in the woods or on the water. His ultimate goal is helping blue-collar hunters make every hunt memorable and every shot count. Dr. Tyson really has thought about developing a product and a brand to help you be more successful in the woods. And he's got a lot of products. His X-Out 360 control kit does give you an advantage in the field or in the marsh. So take a listen. Dr. Shawn Tyson's got a lot of information to share with us today. Hey, listeners, don't forget to text 33444 Food Plot for your free Food Plot ebook.
Welcome to another episode of Whitetail Rendezvous. Hey, folks, we're heading out to Virginia today, and we're going to meet up with and talk with Dr. Shawn Tyson, owner of Pure One Outdoors, where science meets the outdoors. Dr. Tyson, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, it's my pleasure, and it's taken us a little while to coordinate our schedules, but we finally are putting it together. And so let's start right off. And in your bio, you talked about growing up in a blue collar family, and the whole mission of your company and your product is aimed at guys like you and me that worked hard and scratched out a living and through hard work, but we always didn't have the things that maybe some other people did. So we scratched and clawed and got her done anyway. So let's kind of open the show with starting with your background and basically your life's philosophy.
Sure, thanks. Definitely grew up in a lower to middle income class family, and just kind of grew up learning that everything that you were given, it was something that you had to cherish. There wasn't a whole lot of frills. A lot of growing up, we didn't have a whole lot of stuff. So if we did get something, then we really appreciated it and used it basically until there was nothing left. Grew up hunting at an early age. When I fell in love with hunting, I can remember as young as I could carry a gun, I was carrying an old 410 double barrel shotgun and helping my dad go out and get squirrels and rabbits. And my dad always said that I was his best squirrel dog, and he'd have me run around the tree and scare the squirrel back to him. And, that was a life lesson there that I learned at a very early age. And I'd run around that tree hoping to get a shot. He'd just keep, plucking them off. And I learned pretty fast that wasn't going to work anymore. But learned that when we went out there and we shot these animals, God gave us those not just to go out and kill these things, but to bring them home and provide for your family. And so many a nights I remember having squirrel stew or rabbit stew or deer, and these are things that provided for the family. And as I got older, I realized I kept these values, and it kind of driven me to be successful. And as I got my own company, I really wanted to get back to that blue collar crowd and provide products that help those guys. Because those guys don't have a ton of money to go out and spend on it, expensive products. I wanted to get products out there that could help hunters, but at the same time, things that they could afford, but at a lower price range.
So as a doctor chiropractor, you're helping people all the time, and I've been using chiropractic care my whole life, and as well as my wife has. And when I think about that, I think about you helping people get through their day, and it really doesn't matter who they are or what financial backing, but you give back. So is that woven into Pure One Outdoors?
Oh, it definitely is. I I think I realized at an early age that I wanted to be a doctor and I wanted to help people. And how I kind of got into chiropractic was just by a freak injury and got injured and just wasn't getting better by any other methods of treatment. Got treated by a chiropractor and was able to go back to playing pretty fast. Kind of changed my outlook on healthcare and went into chiropractic. And after 16 years, I could probably say that I helped a lot of people prevent surgery and help people that couldn't find help somewhere else. And that's probably the biggest thing that I've gotten joy out of. And now that I'm transitioning out of being in full-time practice of chiropractic and going more into pure one outdoors, it really continues that helping of that blue-collar crowd and trying to help those guys be more successful in the field so that they could bring home, some deer meat or some squirrel meat, whatever it was, and bring some food home to the family.
Well, in your bio, you get yourself with a turkey, and then Pure One Outdoors, it's got a white-tailed deer as part of your logo. And let's talk about how hunting helped form you. You said you spent time with your dad, and as soon as you could, you went and hunted squirrels and rabbits and brought some food home. But, as you grew up, what were the lessons learned from the white-tailed deer, let's stay right with the whitetails, that you carried on to your other hunting endeavors?
The biggest thing is just consistency. I mean, hunting whitetail is probably one of the hardest hunts that any hunter can do. Very smart. They learn very fast about what a hunter can do and can't do, and they will not repeat the same mistakes more than once usually. So what I kind of learned from chasing those whitetail is just being persistent, not giving up, and consistent to do the same things to get better each time. And so that each time I went out there to hunt, it would be more successful than it was before.
And so talk to me about some of the lessons learned from the whitetail that you said, man, I'm not going to do that again. Or, that worked out real well, because whitetails school me all the time, and I've been hunting them for over 50 years. And I get schooled all the time because I just forget one little component and I'm busted. How about you?
I've made every mistake probably known to man. I grew up in a family that weren't the greatest of whitetail hunters, so I pretty much learned a lot from making those mistakes. I've gone out there and gone to get in my tree stand and sitting there, and a deer comes in and drop the arrow. So I've been to my tree stand and forgot my rope to pull up the bow. I mean, I've done pretty much everything. The biggest thing that I think I've learned and what kind of got us into the products that we have now is just trying to find something that can control not only my scent, but also to control the glow that came off of my camouflage. So I kind of learned early on that it came down to more than just trying to prevent my odor so that a deer wouldn't smell me. And there was other factors that I had to learn to be successful in that tree stand. But I've made them all. I've fallen in the woods. I've dropped my gun before. I mean, I've made a lot of mistakes, but I think that every time that you make a mistake, you definitely learn from it, and going forward, it makes you a better hunter.
Yeah, I can agree with everything you said. I was thinking about dropping your gun, and unfortunately, that has happened to me, and it's pretty ugly when your other gun or your bow, is 5 miles away, and you're right at gray light turn into dawn, and you just blew your hunt. I mean, that's painful.
It is, and I had a big boy come through, and I just had to sit there and watch him stroll by and look at me, and I just kind of tipped my hat to him and said, "You won this round." But I learned from that, and it wasn't going to happen again, and it hasn't happened again, and that's why I think that's what life is really about. Is if you get knocked down or you do something wrong, you learn from what you did wrong, and you fix it, and that way going forward, you don't make that same mistake over again.
Now, do you keep a hunt log?
You know what? I don't. I'm one of the worst about taking photos or taking logs. I really don't keep those things. I really feel like I get a good experience from it, and I'm able to kind of put that into my memory, and I don't keep a lot of logs.
And how about checklists? That's one thing I had to go to, especially with the travel I do. I've got to have a checklist because I have gotten to someplace and gone, oh, where is that? And I go, it's sitting right on the bench.
Sure,
1,000 miles away.
I'm big on checklists just because having kids, you learn very fast that you always forget something. So I've gotten very good at making the checklist of cameras and what gear I need if I'm doing a duck trip or a goose trip or a turkey trip or whitetail, elk, whatever it is. I kind of have set a list for each one of those hunts so that I know what I have to bring and maybe what last time I didn't bring that I would need this time. And so I kind of already have those kind of set out to where that trip comes up, I pull it out and I can read down and go, okay, I need this, 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 and this. That works best for me. I don't do things very well just going, hey, I need to grab some stuff and roll out. Pretty bad at that, but if I can get the checklist, I'm ready to roll.
No, I got to stop it right now. Where the heck is Spotsylvania, Virginia? I looked at that and I said, that's got to be a typo. Where the heck is that?
Spotsylvania is it's about an hour and 20 minutes north of Richmond, but more west. So it's going to be out in the county, right kind of in the middle of Virginia almost. And growing up there, it was very country and definitely gotten more suburby now. But growing up there, it was great. It was a lot of fun. Really enjoyed getting out there and playing sports and a ton of friends and hunting. And it was a nice time. Really enjoyed that.
Well, you alluded to just a couple of minutes ago about your product. And before we get there, how do people get in touch with you after they hear the show or during the show? They go, hey, I'm interested in Pure One Outdoors and the product. How do they get a hold of you?
We've got multiple ways. They can reach me by email at pureoneproducts@gmail.com. They can reach us on Facebook at Pure One Outdoors. Online, we're xouthunt.com. We also have a Twitter page. We've got Instagram. They can also find us on Pure One Outdoors on that as well.
How many followers do you think you have on social media?
We've definitely grown a lot. I want to say we started last year with really getting into the social media. It's funny, I'm not the oldest guy, but I feel like I'm just not into the whole social media thing. And one thing I've been told by all my friends is that, with the modern day age, you really have to be into all this stuff. So I want to say combined with everything we have now, I want to say we have probably about 25,000 right now.
Good for you. And everybody that tells you, I don't know if you knew that I am 70 years old next Wednesday. And, I had to jump feet first into social media. And yeah, I had been, when AOL started, I was right there. So, but that isn't anything what we have today in social media. And one thing I would say to listeners, if you're not connected to social media and you want to be part of the industry, not just a viewer or consumer, but if you want to be part of the industry, you got to learn how to utilize very effectively your social media message.
Yeah.
Your thoughts on that?
It's huge right now. I mean, getting into it, being a country boy, I really wasn't into it. I just wanted to hunt and, put good products out there and help other hunters. And I realized though that to reach people, people don't look in the paper anymore for things. They go online for everything. The internet is everything nowadays. So if you want to reach people, then you have to reach them by Facebook or Twitter or Instagram. This younger generation is definitely doing a lot more reaching out that way. And so I kind of had to change my game up a little bit, and I definitely jumped in like everything else I do in life. I jumped in with both feet, and I feel like I've kind of gotten it knocked down now and learned a lot. Once again, it's made some mistakes, but also learned from them. And now I think that we definitely are moving in that right direction with all the SEO stuff and online and getting the online store and, reaching out to all these to the hunters that really get a lot of information and find, all the reviews on products and what to buy and not to buy. And that's what I think the best thing right now about the internet is that you can go to the store and go, hey, I saw XYZ. They may not buy it right then. They may go home and they're going to do a day of research and they're going to look at all the reviews for it, how it works, pictures, before they make that decision. And I think that helps us as well. Being a smaller company, we've gotten a lot of great reviews out there and people have been using it, and it's really growing so that now, even though you might be a smaller company, there is already a ton of stuff out there about you to where they can go online and find you and figure out if this is a product that's going to work for them.
Well, that's a great segue into where science meets the outdoors. How did Pure One start? You kind of alluded to it, but let's unpack that a little bit more.
Sure. Basically, it just started where having multiple failures at hunting, and one day I just kind of sat down and went, I've got to apply all these things that I've learned in anatomy and school and try to figure out how can I be a better hunter. Basically, I just began to sit down and try to figure out current products out there, what I used and what I didn't use, and how can I make them better. And one of the biggest things I began to research was looking into the abilities of white-tailed deer, their vision, their smell, their hearing. And I wanted to think about a way to where I can increase my odds of having better hunts. So I began to look into their senses, which is smell and sight, hearing, and begin to try to figure out what products can I make that can not only help me, but can help other blue-collar hunters. And then as I did that, I began to realize that there wasn't much out there that tried to trick a white-tailed deer's eye. I think that's one of the biggest misses right now in hunting is that hunters don't really appreciate the ability of a white-tailed deer's eye. They go, I wear camouflage, that's good enough. They're so brainwashed into thinking that everything is scent control. And there's so much more to hunting a white-tailed deer than just controlling their scent. So we began to look into controlling UV glow and how can we stop the glow off of camouflage that deer see at low light conditions. And we began to look at the deer's eye and how it's different than the human eye. And we began to realize a lot of different things that we needed to try to adjust to make us a better hunter. And we came up with these products, and putting the science to it was basically coming up with all these patent pending ideas to where we can affect a deer's vision, their scent. We're also working on some hearing things now too. So we've got multiple things that we're putting to play, trying to affect the deer's senses, which ends up helping us in the hunt.
I'm thinking when you talked about the UV, and I remember this was quite a long time ago, but I was walking out of the woods, and my buddy said, "You're glowing." I said, "What?" And I don't know how it works, but if you use the bleaches in the laundry detergents, actually your clothes will glow. How does that happen? And how do we make sure we're not wearing glow clothing today?
Well, first, let's just kind of step back and understand why a deer is able to see you. So a deer's eye is a little bit different than the human eye. The deer eye does not have a UV filter in their eye, like the human does. So a human has an eye, that UV filter that blocks out about 99% of UV rays. Well, a deer doesn't have that. They also have more rods and cones in their eyes. So they're able to see better at low light conditions. So it gets back to your UV glow. All these modern day camouflage companies, they put these fibers into their camouflage that makes it very visual. It's very visual, appealing to the human hunter. So we look at that camouflage and go, "Hey, man, that's great camouflage. It looks really nice. I'm going to go ahead and buy that." Well, the fibers that they use, they have a lot of dyes in them, or they use different types of detergents to make these fibers look pretty. Well, unfortunately, when you're in a low light situation, that's going to put off a glow that any wildlife, especially white-tailed deer, can pick up. So we came up with a product that not only helps the hunters with their odor, but also help them with that UV glow. So with X-Dot odor and UV, you're actually able to spray the camouflage. It actually binds to the fibers and not only begins to kill any odors, but also begins to decrease that UV glow at that low light condition.
Okay, so if I read a tag on blank camouflage and it doesn't tell me anything about a UV glow or the fibers, how do I know that it glows or it doesn't glow in low light conditions?
Most modern day camouflages are going to have those fibers. There really is no way to look at it other than taking a black light, which will give you kind of a crude way of doing it. You take a black light, you go into a dark room, and you can shine that black light on your camouflage, and that will give you an idea of how much glow is coming off of there. Kind of mimics the eye of a deer. It's going to be a lot more bright to a deer, but that'll give you an idea basically of what you're dealing with. I really haven't seen too many camouflage companies right now that are doing non-UV stuff. And some of the worst ones are going to be some of the blue colors that you're going to find in the UV. Those blue colors really stand out to a deer's eye. So if you can, then you want to try to stay away from those lighter colors, the blue colors. That's what that deer's eye is going to pick up at that low light condition.
I'm just thinking again, back to my blue jeans, and that's what I was wearing, and I just washed them and whatever. So if I wash them in the correct detergent these days, whoever makes it, does that help retard that glow?
Well, we do carry a detergent that actually does block UV glow on camouflage as part of our X360 lineup. The bad thing, though, is that will it decrease some of that glow? Yes. But unfortunately, anything blue is like a red light to a deer. I mean, it's just going to stand out, and they're really going to see it. So if you use my detergent, it's definitely going to bring down the glow, but you're still, because it is a blue color, it's really going to stand out. And that's part of the short wave of the visual spectrum that deer see on. There's red and orange on the other end of the spectrum, which is called a long wave. Then you have the short spectrum, which is going to be the blue ones. And they really pick up that blue and that ultraviolet side. So I really wouldn't wear anything blue. I don't care. You know, they used to say, well, granddaddy could wear some blue jeans. We could go out and kill a deer. Times have changed. And if you don't have to wear blue jeans out in the woods, then you definitely want to try to avoid that.
You're getting technical on us, and the spectrum, there's a color spectrum out there, folks. Go on and just Google it. But so what I heard, short wave is the blue, and the shorter the wave, the more UV reflection or glow that's provided. Then on the long range of the color spectrum are your oranges and your reds. How about browns and blacks?
It's going to kind of fall right in the middle, and so deer really won't pick up to that. It's going to be kind of a grayish tone to them. So that's really not going to be affecting them too much. It's going to be everything that falls on that side with the blues and the ultraviolet. They don't really see reds and oranges very well, and so when you get into the blacks and the browns, it's not going to be a big issue. But now if you wore some blue jeans and then you wore a brown shirt, you're definitely going to have two different visual spectrums there, and that really would definitely stand out to a white-tailed deer.
Wow. Where science meets the outdoors, that's their byline. Folks, you're getting it. And so, Dr. Tyson, again, tell people how to get a hold of you, because we're going to generate a lot of questions, and some people are going, well, I've been using the same stuff and I never get busted. And I bought this best stuff in the world off the rack at a big box store, and, I never tested it. And so I'm hearing that, we better take the black light and go in a dark room and see really what we got.
You got it. Yeah, it's so important. And one of the biggest reasons how I came up with this stuff is that I sat in a miniature tree stand and had a deer look right up at me and know I was there. I had the best camouflage on. I was using all the big name detergent stuff and all the scent blocking stuff. And He looked right at me, and I knew there had to be something that had to give him a visual cue. As I kept looking into it, I realized that I was putting off a UV glow, and there's so many hunters that would tell me the same thing. So they can definitely, reach me with any questions. They can contact me at pure1products@gmail.com. They can reach me on the internet at xouthunt.com. They can call me off of there. We can always get the questions answered for them. I've got so many hunters that are beginning to realize why some of these hunts did not work out for them. And, that you can go and you can spend all the time and money into food plots and your camouflage and there's so many things that they will spend the time and money on, but they're going to go cheap on the UV control or the scent control, and that sometimes can be the simplest thing, can ruin their hunt. So we put together a great system where we have multiple products that deal with scent and UV combined, so that, once again, we're saving that blue-collar hunter money. So instead of having to buy multiple products, they can buy one detergent, and it comes with a UV and a scent product, or they can get a spray that has a scent and UV product combined. One of our newest ones that we're really excited about is called Carbon Defense, and it's a product where they can now take their older scent block or scent lock camouflage that after a season has lost a lot of its ability to block scent. They can now take this product of mine, they can soak their camouflage into it, and they can add new carbon back into their camouflage and basically bring that old camouflage back to life again without having to go spend a ton of more money on more camouflage. So we've got a ton of different products there, a lot of, like I said, aimed towards that blue-collar hunter, to give them the best product line without having to spend a ton of money, and allow them to have a better hunt and know that they're being protected. If it's scent, if it's UV, whatever it is, they have enough protection to get them through that hunt and to bring some meat home.
Now, I've heard a lot of people talk about ozonics. Now, that's a mechanical device, and
Sure.
how does that really work, and how does it compete with a myriad of cover-up scents or scent eliminators? You can't eliminate scent. Every time you breathe, your scent goes out there. But how does that work? I want to inform the people of the difference of an ozonic type of product versus what you have.
The ozonics is great. It's an expensive product though, so that's kind of out of the range of some of the hunters that can't afford to spend $300 on a machine that is basically affecting the scent of them in a tree. So basically, they have a machine above their head or beside them, and any odor that's coming off of them, this machine is breaking down that oxygen in those scent particles and destroying them basically. It's a great technology. Unfortunately, there's a lot of hunters out there that can't afford that. They got families, they have kids. So when it comes to our products, it's basically a way for hunters to control their scent without having to spend a bunch of money like ozonics. But I've got friends that use it and they love it, and I have friends that can't afford it, so they don't use it. I think hunting's kind of like a toolbox. It all depends on how many tools you have in your toolbox and what you can use. If you can afford to have the expensive tools, then you use those. If you can't afford that, then you use the things that you can afford. And we try to make our products affordable for everybody, not just the upper echelon hunters, but everybody that can afford to go into Walmart and buy something, then we want to have our products, to be to those guys.
Thanks for sharing that. And how long has Pure One Products been up? And tell us about some of your successes and share some of your failures, because as we said in the warm up, it's all about hard work. And folks, it doesn't come easy for any of us. What we're doing here, and so Dr. Tyson, share a little bit about that.
Yeah, I started the company in 2010 with just ideas of how I could make products better. And I started off with several products that were enzyme-based scent control products, and just began to realize that those just weren't going to be successful long term. And so we had multiple failures in trying to figure out how to combine these different products and be successful. There's a lot of times when I would bring a product out and it just did not test well with the market. And so we would have to start back over again. But we kept at it, and we realized that as we kept making these new products that we were becoming better at figuring out how to do it, how to market it, how to bottle it. We started off in 2010 with these ideas, and this is our first year that we've gone across the U.S. Last year, we stayed small market just here in Virginia and down south. We definitely had some mailings out to some other states, but this year, we just signed up with Walmart.com. So we're going to be online with Walmart, which is a really big step for us. We are in several stores throughout the U.S. We're in Wisconsin, we're in Texas, we're in Idaho, we're throughout the South. So we've definitely grown very fast, and that just came from perseverance. I mean, I've had people tell me years ago that the market was too big, and that a small person like us couldn't come in there with a great product like we have and grow. And I just didn't accept that as the truth. I knew that we had a great product. I knew that there was nothing else out there competing with it. And the ultimate goal was to help people. And so I think we just kept at it. And we've grown tremendously. This is really, the season is just starting for most people, and we've been grinding for 6 months getting to this point. We just signed on with Red Arrow TV. Tip Campbell has a great show. I don't know if you know who he is, but
no, I don't.
Red Arrow TV. Yeah, he's an awesome guy. He's also a Virginia guy, so we connected. And he's using all our products right now, and we're doing a big movement with him. I think that really helped push our company, and Kip and Kat and Danny over there at Red Arrow. They're just awesome people, not just great hunters, but good people. And that's really what I surround myself around. Is I have just great people around me. I would not be who I am if it wasn't the people that are around me. And so having, hunters that, give me feedback, even if it's bad feedback, that's okay. As a company, you can only learn from your failures and to begin to keep improving until eventually you have a rock solid product and that you're able to help people. And so we're really excited, and this year is going to be a great year, and next year is going to be an even better year. So continuing every single year, we've grown, and we're looking for big and better things.
Well, that, like I told you in the warm-up, 30 minutes goes really fast. So we're at the soft stop here. So please take 90 seconds or 120 seconds and give shout-outs to whomever you choose.
Well, thanks. Yeah, it's like I said before, I would not be who I am today without several people. And first is Jesus Christ. I've got a great family. I've got an amazing wife that has supported this dream. I've got my kids, Ryan, Logan, and Skylar. They're big time into this as well. And so, thankful to everybody, all the blue collar hunters that have really supported us and helped push us to where we are today. I just can't say thank you enough. And like I said, if I can help you, please let me know.
Well, Dr. Shawn Tyson, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day. And I know hunting season's upon us, and you're cranking out products. So, continue on. But on behalf of all the listeners throughout North America, thank you for being a great guest on our show today.
Thanks for having me, and I really appreciate it. Hope that we can do it again.
Make sure you listen to the next episode of Whitetail Rendezvous. We're going to visit with Evan Gersper. Evan is the pro staff and editor of Country Camel Outdoors, and he's a board member of Sportsmen for Heroes Foundation. He's a wounded veteran, spent about 12 years in the U.S. Army, and he was medically retired after spending some time over in Afghanistan. He's passionate about the outdoors, not only for the hunting part of it, but the therapeutic part of it. He's able to sit in a tree stand and enjoy some peace. Make sure you tune in.
Thanks for joining us. Be sure to tune in tomorrow for another episode of Whitetail Rendezvous, where you can listen and learn from the experts so you can be more successful on your next hunt. Until next time, listen, learn, and succeed.